Hello, welcome to a 2026 frequent flyer video, yay! Now, in this video, I'm going to quickly go over my two picks for the start of 2026 on which cards you want to apply for just in general, but most likely Qantas points. So obviously the offers are getting worse and worse every year, so this is just my opinion. However, I've actually applied for one of these recently, so which is why I'm actually creating this video. But yes, I'm mostly recording my webcam. I don't have my camera. I don't know where it went, so sorry about that. But let's get straight to the video. Alrighty, starting off with my favorite card, the Qantas American Express Ultimate card. Now, right now, there's a bonus of 70k points. Now, this is probably, I'd say, an average bonus. There's definitely higher ones, but you might have to wait months for it. So if you're in a rush, I would say this is still a pretty good card. 70k points for a minimum spend of 3k for the first 3 months is very good, because all of the other bank cards, you have to spend like $5,000 plus. It's pretty annoying, to be honest. The best reason to get this card is because the annual fee, $450, is offsetted by the annual travel credit that you can use for $450 booked through their American Express travel. Now, I know people have kind of like problems with this sometimes. The travel credit is getting harder to use sometimes. However, I found that just booking routes that are busy has generally been pretty good with this card. Because sometimes the prices get inflated through Qantas's website, and the American Express travel website isn't as bad, to be honest, or they just match it. So I found this to be the easiest way to use it. But I'm going to make a video on this card anyway in 2026, some of the hacks I've managed to utilize with this card in 2025. I'm going to be talking about, so yeah, make sure you stay tuned for that video. But either way, in my opinion, this is probably one of the best cards from an earning rate perspective as well. 1.25 for everyday purchases, excluding some other government stuff, as well as a 2.25 for eligible Qantas products, which is amazing. So this is a really good card overall to keep. And one of my favorite features as well is the additional cards and no extra cost. A lot of the times, a lot of the bank cards, you do have to pay $50 to maybe $100 sometimes to add a person. This is completely free. I've done it. My dad's on my card. He's retired, so that's why. But either way, super good, and obviously you got lounge access and stuff. But a lot of the other cards also have that, so I'm not going to go through that. But yeah, this is my first recommendation, the Qantas American Express Ultimate card. There's a referral link if you want to use it, but you don't have to if you want. Alright, so second up, I'm going to quickly go over some of these cards as you can see on the screen. So you got the Westpac card. It might be tempting to see there's 150k. St. George as well down here, which is also tempting at 150k. Very similar, 1.2 to 1.2 rate, 295, 295. Probably guess why, because St. George is under Westpac. So it's basically effectively the same card. But either way, in my opinion, this card is, I'll just go for the Westpac one, and I'll tell you why I didn't apply for this one. Now, if you just look at the fine print here, a lot of these cards, as you all know, are now doing this 1+2 year combo, which is the bulk of the points you get in the first year, and then the secondary bulk you get in the second year. So in this case, you get 90k for the first year and 60k for the second year. However, most people just churn these cards out anyway. So unless you're going to keep this card, it looks good up front, but the costs plus the 90k isn't as appealing if you're just getting 90k for the first year, right? As well as spending $6,000, which is quite a lot of money. And the annual fee in total is $295 plus 75, which is $370. Now, I'm going to go through the reason why I decided to apply for this ANZ card, and kind of already see why. Now, it says 130k points, which is 20k points less. However, as you can see here, you still get 90k points for the first year. You only get a smaller bulk for the second year, but most people getting these cards are probably going to churn it out anyway. And the annual fee is offsetted by the $200 cash back. So 425 minus 200 is $225, which is basically $150 cheaper than the other one, I think. My maths could be wrong here. I'm just doing it off my head right now. But $150 annual fee, less than the other one for the same amount of bonus points. The only big difference is the earning ratio, which is 1.2 to 1. However, I don't think that's going to be a major difference for you to decide to, use one card over the other. To be honest, in my opinion at least, it's not worth it that much. I think saving money on the annual fee is way more worth it. So let's quickly dig into some of the benefits of the ANZ frequent flyer card. I kind of already went through it. A 90,000 bonus points for $5,000 eligible purchases, so $1,000 less than the other one, although you only get 3 months to do it in, so oops. So you do have a bit more, you got to focus on that. You got to make sure you have things ready to be purchased. A 1-to-1 ratio for the first 7,500. And then 0.5, so they do have a little cap here. Now, in my opinion, there's two big things here, and obviously a lot of other credit cards have this already, which is the travel insurance as well as the personal concierge. Now, in my opinion, having a 24/7 personal concierge is very useful, especially if you're going to countries which you can't speak their language or notoriously hard to travel in. Concierges have saved me a lot. There's also, if you want to book concert tickets and stuff has helped a lot as well. I have found some success using Concierge. So yeah, definitely two of the good features for this card. However, overall for credit cards, in my opinion, they all have very similar features. Yes, some of the insurances might be different, but a lot of them are being underwritten by the same companies anyway. But overall, I just find that going for the ones with the optimal points as well as annual fee has just been the best way to churn cards these days, because all of them are getting so similar. You know, this card in the past used to give 80 status credits. I remember when I first got this card. So yeah, things have changed a lot for the worse, to be honest, but we got to make do, right? Either way, hopefully this video has helped you kind of understand what are some of the credit cards and the kind of credit card landscapes for Qantas. I to see what other cards will come out, and I'll probably make an updated video, but this is what's the current landscape, and it's obviously not as good as before, but hopefully this video has helped. Leave a comment below if I've missed anything, and I'll see you in the next video.